it's whitewashed. It's not even like a Negro spiritual.
Their
like,
idea.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah.
Like colored on ice. Something like that.
Yeah. As I don't know, as we're in this time, I feel like a lot of us have like this deep collective desire to celebrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we should celebrate it. But I know a whole bunch of people didn't grow up doing it. Our crew is really lucky that you're in it. A person actually from Galveston County, like the birthplace.
Yeah.
So I was wondering if you could tell me first, like, what were you taught Juneteenth was? What was the first thing you were taught growing up?
Well, again, I'm from Galveston County. I was born in Galveston. My biological father is from Galveston. So it really wasn't a thing that I knew what it was till I was like 10. It was just a parade on Friday, a carnival on Saturday, and then like a celebration on Sunday at church. So it was just something that we did. I didn't know what it was for. I just knew it was Juneteenth. So I knew I was going to a parade and give me some cotton candy and funnel cake. Like that's what I knew it as. Until my great aunt told me exactly what it was. So it wasn't anything that we learned in schools though, or it to be so widely celebrated in Texas. It wasn't anything I was ever taught in school.
Wow.
So all of my education came from family, which is absurd, but it is what it is. So a lot of times kids nowadays have no idea what it is because it's not even celebrated as much now as it was when I was growing up.
Really? Even in Galveston County?
Like they don't have those celebrations anymore. It's not a carnival at Carver Park, which is the next street over from where I grew up. Like none of that exists anymore. So even my little brother, he knows what it is because of my grandpa. But other than that, he doesn't go to the celebrations or anything like that. So it just don't exist anymore. Wow. And I know he didn't learn it in school because we went to the same school.
Why do you think they stopped celebrating it like y'all used to?
Well, I think like the generational curse started to happen. So it's like older generations, like my grandma and my grandpa, civil rights, all that other stuff, like that was super important to them. And that as far away and far removed as we get from that, so does some of that history. So they were the ones in their 20s and 30s and 40s holding those carnivals and fundraising and all that for it. Well, they're 70 and 80 now, right? So and they haven't really passed the torch on. And back then, people went to college, came back home. People don't do that, just like me. Like I went to college and never came back. So the people that would organize it never came back to the community. Like they stay in Dallas or they stay downtown Houston, which is almost an hour away. So they just don't live in those communities anymore. So it really has died down from when I was growing up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Do you think that, or do you get the sense that people are wanting to start celebrating it again, especially this year with the Black Liberation Movement in full swing?
Absolutely. I see on Facebook like people selling Juneteenth shirts. I see people trying to organize stuff. I like to call it a overdue rebellion that's happening now. And people are educating themselves more. Like it's not at this point in time. It's a shame that it's not portrayed in school, but we have access to the internet. So a lot of things you don't get the excuse to blame or I didn't get taught this or the school system that like you have internet, baby. You can look
at
it
your
up
fingertips.
in 3 seconds and know everything about Juneteenth, right?
Yeah.
So I think people are pushing away those excuses and then putting it into action and not waiting for the county to do it, not waiting for your grandma, grandpa who ain't gonna do it, right? So I think everything that's going on has had a little push for it as well. Just to educate ourselves more on history, because it's hard to be mad at other people about not knowing Black history when we don't know it, right?
Yeah.
We're not taught it. And if you're waiting on the school systems to do it, especially down south, baby, you're going to be waiting a long time.
Right.
Yeah. Because
And
they don't teach it.
it's so interesting. Like, there were names that I heard growing up and who were briefly talked about, not in school. It was definitely like at church or in my family. But I never had a connection to until now. Like, as an adult, I now feel deeply moved and inspired by Fannie Lou Hamer, for instance, and just her strength and her message and what she fought for. And I wish that more little Black kids understood who their ancestors were, not just the image of the enslaved person, but the people who fought, who helped us get to this point, so that we have a better understanding of how we can move forward.
Even if you think about the image of an enslaved person, if you go through the history books, it was like, oh, they brought somebody from Africa, but the master was nice. They had barbecues for him. And they sang songs when they was picking that cotton for massa, and all was well. They had great spirits. Boom, Abraham Lincoln, right? And then it's like, boom, Martin Luther King, like,
Now racism's
boom,
over. Yeah.
racism done. Then some crooked man popped behind a trash can and shot him, and that when he shot him, that shot racism out. Like
End of an era.
end of an era.
Wow.
Racism doesn't exist anymore. So
Yeah.
when you think about that type of imagery, it's
They're presented as a Negro spiritual musical.
yeah, it's whitewashed. It's not even like a Negro spiritual. It's
Their
like,
idea of
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's like colored on ice, something like that.
Yeah. So, as someone who grew up celebrating Juneteenth, are there like any specific traditions you can remember or call on that you think should be included for someone who's celebrating it for the first time?
I know we sung the Negro national anthem. Hold on, stop! It's my puppy. She thinks I'm a chew toy. We sung that in its entirety, which is rare. Most people stop at the first verse. And really, it was like different teachings when we were singing it. So it was like different little classes you can go to, and they taught you the meaning of each verse. So that was, wow, Houston.
Houston making his cameo, people.
Yeah. Yeah. So they taught us the meaning of it, which again, didn't learn in school. You really learn at either Juneteenth or at church. So I think that was definitely a tradition because you only heard it, in February?
Right.
Well, after a while, you stop really thinking about it. So I think that was a tradition that I really appreciated. They would have different people that were older, super old, that lived through civil rights and segregation and all those people like talk. That was dope. Just hearing different stories. I think that's something that they touched on, which I thought was rare and unique, is they touched on colorism. And it was, I thought it was random, but it was more them trying to improve and touch on the things that the Black community go through that we like to keep hush hush. But at this time, if we're going to celebrate everything and talk about it all.
Ahead of their time.
1 month, so
right.
you get it all out. So they talked about colorism. They would have panels.
What?
It was legit, man. When I think
Wow.
about it, like it was super legit. Um, so
That's
I
so
really
cool.
appreciate that because again, you don't know about these things until you start to grow and age, and it's all
Mm-hmm.
about life experiences. But being able to hear and see that at a young age, I think helps shape and mold.
I wish that there was some kind of like, you know how a lot of writing these days, digital writing is like lists. I wish there was like a collection of places that have had significant Juneteenth celebrations and that details how they did it and
Mm-hmm.
what they did um, to to commemorate the holiday because I really want to know. I read somewhere that red drinks are really important. Do you remember something about that?
No, not at all. I wish I did. Like, I hate that it was so long ago
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the youngest in the group. Just want everybody to know.
Are
I'm
you?
I think I'm close, so I could say it was a long time ago for you guys. But it was like I was so young. I think the last Juneteenth parade I like went to was maybe 13.
Wow, yeah.
Mm,
That's over half your life ago.
yeah, it was a while. Don't give my age. So no, it was a while ago. Because then, I mean, I started playing basketball, and you have tournaments, and you have
Mm,
Juneteenth tournaments, and so it's like I stopped going to the parades because I was hooping.
yeah,
But yeah, it was so long ago. I should have asked my granny. Yeah, I'm gonna ask my granny.
you should.
Yeah,
Tell me what she says.
because I remember like it was a thing. Like we're going to the parade, and there was no ifs, ands, and buts. Like it was happening, and the whole family. You would see everybody from the county,
Wow.
everybody. So it was. It
Did
was mad.
people from outside of Galveston County come too?
See, I wouldn't know,
Mm.
but the amount of people, because in Galveston County, there's Dickinson, Santa Fe, which is pretty much all white.
What's his face? Is that Galveston?
What?
Something.
Lamarck? Yeah. Yeah. That's Galveston County. Texas City. So it's like 5 different cities in that county. So it was packed. Well, I wouldn't know if people from Houston came. I'm sure they did. But it was something to go to. Like it was wild. Mayors would come down. Like it was a real celebration. I hate that it stopped. I hope they started up again, but I hate that it
Me
stopped.
too.
I don't know anything about a red drink.
Well, the article I read said that it was representative of the hibiscus and cola nut drinks that our ancestors used to drink back on the continent. So I'm
Okay.
interested in learning more. I've been doing some research, trying to honor it the best way I can because I know that it's something that some people have
Mm-hmm.
always celebrated and that's deeply important to them. I don't want to be the newcomer
Be the newcomer. I mean, I
dishonoring
don't
it.
know any other states that really celebrate it. Like I don't know any. Like on the East Coast for sure.
No.
Like I would think that more people down south would, but from the information that I'm gathering, it looks like it was just us.
Well,
Is
so
why.
my family's all in South Georgia, and I don't remember there being anything about Juneteenth then. But we used to spend every summer in Nashville, Tennessee for a church conference for 2 weeks. So my grandma was a bishop. And Nashville, Tennessee had this huge Juneteenth like festival, block party kind of thing. Um, and at the time, I knew it was called Juneteenth, but it was kind of like a battle of the events thing going on because we was at church.
Yeah.
And they was like,
I mean, they were singing Negro spirituals. The hymn
not,
in the Bible.
not this one. No, this was like this was like a just fun summer block party that some people might use the word worldly to describe. So that was kind of my
more holy.
Yeah.
For sure.
That was my introduction to Juneteenth, and it wasn't until years later that I figured out that wasn't just the name of the festival happening in June, but that it was but that it was an actual important day in Black history.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, well, I hope now that the revolution is starting, or the rebellion, that it'll get, more notoriety. I really hope that it makes its way into schools, and not just for our kids, for everybody. Like, it's a history.
Kids. Yeah.
And I hope that they stop whitewashing certain things, because I mean, even I could present it to them like, yo, that's something good that y'all did. Slavery ended for everybody, right? No.
Better society for us all.
Remember, all lives matter.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing a lot of people talk about it. A lot of major companies are making it a paid holiday now. And now there's a petition to get it made into a federal national holiday. I didn't know that like maybe 20 or so states already consider it a state holiday.
Well, that's dope.
Yeah, I had no idea. I don't even know what states they are. It might have even been a state I lived in.
Well, I don't know if it's a holiday in Texas. So
it's gotta be.
My dad, no, it's Texas. Let's not kid ourselves. It is a reason why they were the last city in the last state.
Man.
To be like, I guess let these Negroes free.
Man.
Yeah, it's a reason for it. So
it's crazy.
I don't know. Wait, is Christopher Columbus still it's not a holiday, it's like Indigenous Day. We don't get off for that.
I call it Indigenous Day, but technically it's still a federal holiday listed as Columbus Day.
Yep.
And now there's the new argument that if we change anything Columbus related, we're dishonoring the memory of Italian Americans and their contributions to this country.
So Italians, because they weren't Americans yet.
To me, I understand that Christopher Columbus is obviously an Italian person, but those are two very distinct groups of people, an Italian colonizer and Italian Americans who are the descendants of people who immigrated here.
Yeah, I mean, they should like read his diaries or something.
Right? Those are something.
Those are
horrifying.
Like horror film, right? It's like a horror film, like, whoo.
Yeah.
Chopping off people's hands and making them wear his necklaces. And he was also gay, but they don't want to talk about that. So they're not prepared for that conversation.
No.
But he was a horrible person.
He was. And he wasn't even the worst of the colonizers, which is frightening to think about. Is there anything else you can think of that we should know about Juneteenth?
No, nothing that I can think of that we did that was just so significant. It was just a celebration of us and us getting free, right? But I think it was just like fellowshipping, honestly, like with your people, with your culture, and having different cultures around you. Like, because Texas is like a melting pot for like Florida and freaking Louisiana. So you will have their traditions in there too. So it's just like fellowship amongst us, and
That's cool.
it was fun. It was legit. It was joy, pretty much. When we all get together.
Yes.
So it was cool, and I think it was like a mixture of church, a mixture of generations, like a mixture of music, all of that, and all encompassed just a celebration of Black culture, Black people, strength, resiliency, just all of that encompassed in one. And it was cool to be a part of it. I hate that other people didn't celebrate it, but times are changing, so I'm happy that it's starting to get the recognition that it deserves. So
me too. We need it.
Yeah, for sure.
We might be grounded this year, but next year,
yeah, we on punishment this year.
It's on.
Yeah. So buy everything you need for it. You got a whole year.
Yeah. Big old bash.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Live.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much for talking with me about this. Appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
I learned a lot, and I feel less like an interloper.
No, it's our holiday. We just got to get everybody else hip to it.
We do.
Yeah,
I'm gonna keep doing research.
You should. Yeah, I'm gonna see. Well, hell, I might be the only one in a group from Texas.
You are.
Yeah, baby, hold it down. I represent. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna say bye.
Peace.
Get